Good day, everyone. In this video, let us all learn about the comparison and contrast of the two Last Supper paintings by Da Vinci and Tintoretto. Let us start with the Last Supper version of Leonardo da Vinci. This is his painting. Leonardo da Vinci's version of the Last Supper was painted with fresco secco. It is 4.6 meters long and 8.8 meters wide. It is one of the most famous artworks in the world, painted probably between 1495 to 1498 for the Dominican monastery Santa Maria del Grazi in Milan, Italy. The Last Supper painting presents the final meal of Jesus with his apostles on the night before his arrest. In this painting, Da Vinci used linear perspective, the parallel lines that can be seen in the ceiling and the rectangular shapes in the wall depict distance. It becomes smaller and smaller as it reaches the end. The painting is balanced with only one focal point, Jesus as the center. It tells us that Jesus, our God, should be the center of our home. The lighting of the painting is subtle. Color is conservative and dull. This is partly due to the limited paint available and the technique and decay of fresco painting. In addition, Jesus wears the traditional red and blue robes and has a beard but with no customary halo. This tells us that he is still a human being who, as such, will endure the pain of suffering of the passion. Referring to the gospel, Christ says to his apostles, "One of you will betray me," and the apostles react, each according to his own personality. Leonardo depicts Philip asking, "Surely not I, Lord?" Christ replies, "He that dippeth his hand with me in the dish, the same shall betray me." Matthew 26. We see in the painting that Christ and Judas simultaneously reaching toward a plate that lies between them, even as Judas defensively backs away. Jesus also gestures towards a glass of wine and a piece of bread, suggesting the establishment of the Holy Communion rite. Leonardo da Vinci's version of the Last Supper is one of the most famous artworks in the world. However, the painting is subject to many controversies. Some have identified that the person to the right of Jesus is a woman. They said that it is Mary Magdalene, and not John the Apostle. It was also mentioned that there is no cup in the painting, yet Jesus' left hand is pointing to the Eucharist and his right to a glass of wine. Despite so many controversies surrounding this painting, it continues to fascinate thousands every day. So let us now move to Jacopo Tintoretto's version of the Last Supper. This is his painting. Jacopo Tintoretto's version of the Last Supper is an oil painting on canvas. It was executed in 1592 to 1594, and it is housed in the Basilica di San Giorgio Maggiore in Venice, Italy. Tintoretto used linear perspective, and it can be seen in the lines in the table, patterns on the floor, and patterns of the wood in the ceiling. Unlike Da Vinci's Last Supper, Tintoretto's version has a number of focal points, which lead the viewer's eyes over them. Tintoretto's portrayal of the Last Supper is one of the dramatic metaphysicalism, and there's a lot of figures aside from Christ and the apostles. It features the dining table diagonally along the left half of the work behind it. Before the table, there is a woman cleaning, and in the area above them are the angelic presence of cherubs. There are a number of smaller scenes present within the artwork. The work is full of emotion and is largely unbalanced. This is reflective of the time in which the work was created, when there was a lot of social outrage and anger. In the painting, the apostles are still in the midst of their meals. It shows that they have no idea of what will happen later that night. Also, Christ is identified by his halo of blinding lights that illuminates the darkness. This tells us that he is holy and he is God. Also, he is doing the Holy Communion rite, which is mentioned in the Bible. The painting is considered as an example of mannerism arts, elements in the painting that make it mannerism. First, asymmetrical and unbalanced composition. Most of the people are on the left side, and right side has fewer people. This makes the left side of the painting look heavier. Instead of a horizontal or vertical line by which all objects are judged, the scene is slanted on a diagonal, starting from the bottom left and moving to the upper right. Second, use of expressive hand gestures. The way they use their hands are too expressive. Third, crowded and unorganized. People on the painting are talking to different people and they're looking at different areas. Fourth, experimentation of objects. Example are the angels. Next is the elongated body. The upper body part is longer than the lower part. His feet are too small for his height. Second, foreshortening. Next, twisting poses. And the last one is awkward movement. To summarize our report, we have here a Venn diagram to further compare and contrast the two paintings of the Last Supper. In the Last Supper of Leonardo da Vinci, it is balanced or symmetric. It has one focal point, which is Christ. Christ has no customary halo. Christ and his apostles, high Renaissance style, while the Last Supper of Jacopo Tintoretto is imbalanced or asymmetric. There's a number of focal points. Christ has a halo of blinding light. There's another figures aside from Christ and his apostles. Last is the mannerism arts. In their similarities, it is visual art, which is painting. Second, it is religious. Third is both are painted by an Italian artist. They both uses linear perspective and both are in it. That would be all for this video. Thank you for watching and listening. Have a great day.